basically we tell our guys, you can't control what you do, when you get in. You can just kind of control what you do when you get in. And so I think that certainly speaks a little bit to his situation. Obviously he's the last couple of weeks, in particular on Saturday, taking advantage of some opportunities he's gotten and done well with them.
What's the update from your room? You got a couple of guys who were kind of dinged up.
Yeah, we're beat up a little bit, but I think we're coming around. I think we'll be okay by Saturday. It was a little bit of a hodgepodge today, but everybody was out there for the most part getting involved, and so we anticipate by Saturday most of them being able to get in there and play at their normal speed.
With Will, he wasn't playing much. Some guys, they do that and they, maybe don't play well when their chance comes.
Yeah.
What's his attitude been like?
His attitude's been good. He really has been. He's done a good job of staying engaged and taking advantage of his game opportunities. And so that's been a positive thing. That some guys just do a little bit better, in game time situations. And he's obviously, not to minimize what he's done. He's like a lot of them. He's far from perfect in that regard, but has done some nice things, in particular in the passing game. The screenplay was it wasn't overly executed perfectly, but the run after the catch, you can't argue with that. It was very, very well done. Made a third down conversion on a route. Did the same thing a few weeks earlier against Alabama late. And so he's done a nice job of taking advantage of his opportunities.
What do you see from him moving forward? That you might get O'Grady back and get Cantrell back?
Yeah, obviously we have different bodies there. We have a lot of different guys that have played in the games. Jack Krause is a guy that nobody talks about much, but last week he played 14 plays and did a really nice job for us in the run game and came in and helped us and spelled us and stepped in when in particular CJ, went down. And so that was good to see. But, just probably more of the same. I think they've all earned the opportunity to get in there and maybe play to their niche and to their strengths. And so I think you'll see more of that. And hopefully we can continue to build confidence in all of them, but in particular Will, to keep building off what he was able to do the other day and use that as a springboard.
How many snaps has he played the last two games?
I think he played 10 or 11 against Carolina, Coastal, and then maybe a dozen, and then about 14 or 15 the other day. So, and he'd played that many, a few, maybe against Alabama. He played a few in Auburn. And so, it's been, a lot of people don't know this probably about him, but I think there was a period of time earlier in the year where he missed a couple of weeks with a pretty significant little, injury. And so, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's been an upward trend for sure.
Patton's got pretty involved Saturday. What do you see from him?
Yeah, it was good for him. He's coming around. I think he's coming around from his conditioning is getting better, and his familiarity in the passing game has, if there was probably an area that when he got here that he was more behind in, it would have been in the passing game. And so the running game was a little bit more of an easier transition for him. And so the passing game part of it was a little bit more of something that he's had to spend time on. And I think really started hitting his stride in practice about a month ago. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, kind of started hitting his stride where we were like, okay, there we go. Now he's getting it. And it just didn't show up in games really until, I guess the last few weeks, it started to show up more. So hopefully that'll be something that we can do these last two games because he's a good weapon for us. He's a good pass-catching receiver, tight end, and he runs pretty well too.
Having Austin back for LSU, his first game back, how do you think you guys handled that? And a senior leader out there should have helped a lot.
Yeah, I think we all felt good about having Austin back there. That's been our guy for the last couple of years, and we missed him. Cole did an admirable job when he came in. There's no doubt about it. But having a senior, a fifth-year senior at that's been around the program for all these years and has seen all the venues and been to all the places and seen the highs and the lows, it's good to have a guy like that being your trigger man. And hopefully we can finish this out. Strong here at home the last couple of weeks for guys like him, for seniors, and but certainly he brings a great deal of calming presence to us offensively, and it's always good to see him back out there.
How do you think Brett's handling some of this adversity as the losses continue to mount? Stuff that's going on.
Oh, he's been a champion. I mean, he's been solid as a rock. He's I've been with him for 5 years now, and he's the same. He's been the same. More or less the same today that he was then. And so it's been good for him. He's very consistent with our guys, a very consistent message. And I think he's done an admirable job, more than admirable job of just being who he is. And there's a great deal of respect for that,
How's Will's blocking been? I think Brett or Dan said he'd lost some weight. How's he
He has lost some weight. And that's, if he's ahead in the area, on the spectrum, it's the passing game part of it that is a little bit more of his strength at this point. And so obviously the other part just is, I mean, he's come a long way in the other part of that too. But, there's a lot of volume over the course of the last few years in fall camp and spring practice that we make some assessments on. And, we knew that from a receiving route running standpoint that was something that Will could do pretty well. But it hadn't always done on a consistent basis. But that's starting to show up in games, so that's a good thing. It's a really good thing for him. He's earned the opportunity to continue to try to build off of that, and so it was good for him to get in there and make those plays.
The fact that Mississippi State is so aggressive, does that change anything with the tight ends in terms of trying to deal with the tremendous pass rush?
Yeah, that's a good question. They are aggressive, and they feed off momentum like a lot of good defenses do and good football teams do. They're very, very well coached. I think with the job that they've done, this year, and just the transition on the staff has been really, really good. And he's got those guys playing with a lot of belief and very hard. But obviously, tight ends play a role every week. But yeah, you would think that with protection and play action, those types of things, hopefully we can take advantage of some of their aggressiveness. But they're very disciplined, and they're a good defensive football team.
That's what I was going to ask you about, the percentage of blitzes. Y'all probably broke it down. That had to be a really high number
for these guys this week
that they did on Bama.
Oh yeah. They had some unique things, some new things for Bama. It gave Bama some problems, creative, especially on third down. They're a lot like a lot of the people in our league that when you get to third down and you get to that 3rd down and 5 range or whatever, there's some room for them to have some exotic packages, and they're certainly very good at it. So they'll have a twist and turn for us this week too that we'll have to be able to handle. But yeah, it definitely puts a lot of pressure on you. So what you got to do is you got to try to stay out of those. Stay out of those situations so you don't see as many of those exotics.